Good morning. Welcome to Yoga by Beka. I'm Beka, and if you'd like to do yoga, let's start out on our mats in a cross-legged seated position. Slow down your breathing, come into your breath, and become aware of the present moment. Breathing deeply in and out. Slowly sit in hero's pose at the back of the mat. Extend your arms out to your side and scoop up into the air in the front, high up, and then pull down your hands in heart center. Now clasp your hands behind you and pull your hands down while lifting your chin up and down a few times, sort of loosening up the shoulders and the neck. Release your hands, and let's get into tabletop position. Let's warm up the wrists by rocking slowly back and forth with our fingers pointed towards the kneecaps. Now place your hands back in regular position, and let's do a few small circles, first in one direction and then in another direction. Just kind of introducing movement and getting your wrists warmed up. Now sit up and do a few wrist rolls, and then get back down into tabletop position. Let's do a few cat-cow, warming up the spine and the back. At first, make the movement sort of small, and then with each cat-cow, kind of try to make it a little bit deeper. Letting your back gradually warm up. We don't want to shock the back too quickly. Now sitting back in hero's pose, take your right arm and lift over the head, stretching the side body, then the left arm over the head to the side, stretching that side body. Walk your hands out in front of you, getting into tabletop position, but continue to walk your hands in front of you and lower your chest down into puppy pose. Knees should be underneath the hips. To give yourself a little bit of a forehead massage, you can place your forehead on the mat, going side to side. Now lift your body up onto your elbows and lower the back of your body down to where you're in Sphinx pose. Slowly curl your chest up, lifting the arms, straightening the elbows, and lay back down. Curling up and then laying back down, warming up the spine. Lift up into plank and then transition up and back into downward facing dog. Pedaling out the feet. Raise the right leg high up in the air into three-legged dog. And then pull through and step in between your hands. Let your left toes flare out to the side and then pull up into Warrior Two position. Slowly take your right arm and lift it high in the sky. And then lower it back down beside your right foot. Your left arm goes high in the sky into a side twist. Now place both hands on the mat. Your right leg goes back into plank position. Slowly lower down chaturanga. Then push back up into plank, but then transition up and back into downward facing dog. Take your left leg and pull it up high in the sky into three-legged dog. Then lower it down and through to in between your hands. Your right toes flare out to the side. Your arms windmill up into warrior two position. Lean forward slightly and then lift the left arm up and overhead. Right hand rests on your back thigh. Now windmill your hands down to where your left hand goes beside the foot. Right arm high in the sky into a side twist. Both hands on the mat. Left leg goes back to meet the right into plank position, pushing the floor away, strong. Rock forward slightly and then lower down chaturanga. Pull up into cobra. Then lift up your body into tabletop, and then take the right leg and pull it through at an angle to pigeon pose. Your left arm will go back to grab your left foot that you're lifting up. Your left heel is going towards your hip, and then slowly release. Step back into plank. Lean forward slightly and then lower down with control, chaturanga. Pull up into cobra. Then take your left leg and pull it up and through into pigeon pose at an angle. To protect the knee, it doesn't have to be a right angle. Your left heel should be close to your right hip. Lifting up your chest proudly. Then take your right arm and pull it high in the sky and over towards the back of you to grab that right foot on the out. Like grab your foot on the side of where your big toe is and pull that heel close to your hip into king pigeon pose. Now slowly release. Both feet go to the back. You're in plank position now. Rock forward slightly and lower yourself down, chaturanga. Pull up into cobra. Then transition back into downward facing dog. Catch a wave and curl forward into plank position, but then lower the hips down into upward facing dog. Then curl back into downward facing dog. Getting a full body movement. Walk your feet up to meet your hands into forward fold. Bend your knees generously and curl yourself up and lift up into mountain pose. Swoop down into forward fold again. Lift up halfway, flat back. Melt back down into forward fold. Step your left foot back. Lift up into low lunge, then transition into crescent lunge. Your arms raised high above the head. Release the arms back down to frame the right foot. Step the right foot back to meet the left into plank. Rock forward slightly and lower down chaturanga. Pull up the front of your body into cobra. Then catch a wave and transition back into downward facing dog. Walking the feet up to meet the hands, bend the knees generously and lift your body up, curling up into mountain pose again. Hands high in the sky, meet at the ceiling, swoop back down, swan dive, back down into forward fold. Lift up halfway, flat back. Then fold back down into forward fold again. Step your right leg back behind you. Lower down the knee on the mat into low lunge. Look up and then transition into crescent lunge, pulling the hands up towards the ceiling, slightly behind. Your hips are pushing forward. Now release the hands back down to frame that left foot. Take your left foot, meet it back in the back with the right into plank position. Slowly lower down, chaturanga, then pull the torso up into cobra, then transition back down, catch a wave into downward facing dog. Slowly walk the feet up to meet the hands. Grab your elbows and just lay heavy in ragdoll. Swaying left and right. Bend the knees generously, curl yourself and pull yourself up into mountain pose, arms high in the sky, kissing at the center, and then release. Take a seat back down on the mat. Pull your left knee into your chest, your right leg is extended, and look behind you in a spinal twist. Release. Arms up high in the sky and bend over into a seated forward fold. Trying to let your chest meet the tops of your thighs. Walk your hands back up to lift your torso up and then put the right knee up towards your chest. The left leg is extended. Then twist over to the right side, looking behind you into a spinal twist, then release. Let your arms be high in the sky towards the ceiling and then lift over into a seated forward fold. Trying to let your chest touch the tops of your thighs. Pull your legs in, your heels towards your groin, and let's do butterfly. Bouncing your knees a little bit. And then let's stack the wood, get into a seated position, and end today's practice with some shoulder rolls. Let your neck fall from one side to your shoulder to the other. Then roll your head generously around, however it feels good for your neck and what feels safe for your neck, working out any crinks or kinks, releasing any and all stress. Now let's meditate, become fully aware of your body and how it's feeling. Take into account the differences in the magnetic field around you. Take inventory and have a blessed day.